As a result of those riots, 48 people died, and more than 250 were injured. The Ukrainian authorities never conducted a proper investigation. The intensity of the conflict in Donbass constantly increased. On May 25, 2014, an early presidential election was held in Ukraine, which was won by Petro Poroshenko. After his inauguration, a large-scale offensive began in Donbass. During the so-called ATO, armed nationalist battalions, including Azov, fought on the side of the armed forces of Ukraine. Members of these battalions committed brutal crimes against the civilian population. On May 26th, militiamen attempted to seize Donetsk airport. Then the Ukrainian army used combat aircraft for the first time, resulting in the deaths of not only militiamen, but also civilians of Donetsk. The battles for the airport, with varying intensity, continued for 8 months. On the 2nd of July, the Ukrainian Air Force carried out an airstrike on the Lugansk Regional Administration building. 8 people died and another 28 were wounded. On June 13th, Ukrainian security forces took control of Mariupol. The next day, in the city of Shastyain, the Lugansk region, VGTRK aired a report from its correspondent, claiming that the Ukrainian battalion Aidar was carrying out mass killings and exterminating the local population. A few days later, the VGTRK film crew came under mortar fire from the Ukrainian side. On the 2nd of July, the Ukrainian Air Forces struck Stanitsa Luganskaya with cluster bombs. An entire street with residential buildings, the courthouse, and the Ministry of Internal Affairs building was completely destroyed. 4 people died at the scene, and another 5, including a 5-year-old boy, died on the way to the hospital. On July 5th, after 3 months of fierce fighting, the militias abandoned Slavyansk. The Ukrainian army immediately occupied the city. Following Slavyansk, Ukrainian security forces entered Kramatorsk, Konstantinovka, and Seversk. On July 27th, the Ukrainian army launched a massive strike on Gorlovka. In total, about 70 Grad rockets were fired. 22 civilians died, including 4 children. Among the victims was 23-year-old Kristina Zhuk with her 10-month-old daughter Kira. The bodies of the killed were found lying together. The mother was holding her daughter close to her. On August 13th, Ukrainian security forces using Smerch MLRS shelled a beach in the Donetsk city of Zugres, where families with children were relaxing. 13 civilians died, among them 3 children. About 40 people were wounded. The investigation showed that the armed forces of Ukraine used prohibited cluster munitions. According to data from the Human Rights Ombudsman in the DPR published in 2023, as a result of Ukraine's military aggression since 2014, 228 children died on the territory of the DPR, and 792 children were wounded. In May 2015, in memory of the deceased children of Donbass, a memorial complex called the Alley of Angels was opened in Donetsk. On September 5, 2014, in the Belarusian capital, the Minsk Protocol was signed, a document on a ceasefire in the Donetsk and Lugansk republics.
We agreed that we cease fire.
Combat operations subsided, but the shelling of Donetsk, including with the use of large-caliber artillery, multiple rocket launchers, and tactical missiles, did not stop. In addition to regular shelling, the authorities carried out an economic blockade of the Donetsk and Lugansk regions. From December 2014, in accordance with Poroshenko's decree, the government stopped paying all social benefits to residents of Donbass, including pensions and servicing bank accounts of the population and enterprises.
We will have work. They will not. We will have pensions. They will not. We will have support for children and pensioners. They will not. Our children will go to schools and kindergartens. Theirs will sit in basements.
On December 23, 2014, the Verkhovna Rada voted to cancel Ukraine's non-aligned status and return to the course of rapprochement with NATO. In Russia, this was called an unfriendly step.
This is nothing more than a tribute to the rhetoric desired by the party of war in Kyiv.
NATO, for its part, declared political support for Ukraine, but emphasized that membership would not be possible soon.
We support Ukraine's freedom to decide its own future without outside interference.
On January 27, 2015, the Verkhovna Rada adopted a statement in which it called the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics terrorist organizations. Combat clashes resumed with renewed vigor. On February 11, 2015, negotiations began in Minsk between the leaders of the Normandy 4 countries, Russia, Ukraine, France, and Germany. As a result, a second agreement was signed, implying the withdrawal of heavy weapons by both sides to equal distances in order to create a security zone.
De-escalation of the conflict. This is not just about the independence and territorial integrity of Ukraine. The whole geopolitical order in Europe after 1989 is at stake.
After the signing of Minsk II, the front line did not change, but the shelling of populated areas in Donbass continued. According to OSCE data in 2016, more than 300,000 ceasefire violations were recorded,